Eric with Deutsche Auto Garage here. We have the 2018 Audi S4. Yes, the one that might have all those engine problems. So today we're going to do an oil change with an oil extractor, not the drain plug at the bottom, because oil extraction is the way to go with these vehicles. We're also going to be using liquid moly right here, and we're also going to be putting in my favorite, which is Ceratec. All right, so for today's fun, we're going to need the oil extraction unit. I got this from FCP Euro. You can get one from ECS Tuning and many other places, especially being Black Friday is today, so it would be a great day to do that. By the time you see this video, it will not be Black Friday, so that was stupid. With it, this is the main tube that hooks up to the unit itself. Then we have an actual extension tube. This is the tube that's going to go down into the dipstick tube. This metal is to keep you from sending the plastic tube into places it's not supposed to go, which I've seen people actually get their stuff stuck, so I'm glad they include that. Over here we have our oil filter sockets, which we will need, I believe it was a 32 millimeter, and that would be this one right here. In addition, we have our oil, and I'm using Ceratec today, which means we're gonna take a little bit of the new oil out, put the Ceratec in, and continue on, and a pick to get the dipstick tube out. And we'll go ahead and get started. Oh, gloves. Yes, gloves. So you absolutely need gloves to do this. I don't care who says what, but you're gonna need some gloves and paper towels, microfiber, whatever you want, and probably hand cleaning wipes, so. All right, so in order to get the engine cover off, there are 4 points here. So we're just gonna lift up from the front, pop, and pop on the back. And as you can tell, these 4 little rubber grommets right here are where these little studs go. So that is what you're pulling off. So I'm gonna go ahead and put paper towels down here and a microfiber over here. Our goal is to get the oil filter out first before we extract the rest of the oil. So you're going to start your car, let it idle for a couple of minutes, and then stop it. Let it cool off for a couple of minutes, which we've already done at this point. So now we're gonna go ahead and pull the oil filter off. All right, so I'm putting down a mat here because I'm going off of what Humble Mechanic has said in his oil extraction video from 5 years ago, and Cameron on the Audi C7 owners. But being as my last oil change video went catastrophically wrong based on a red plug, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this and slide this up under here. But the idea is we're supposed to take the oil filter off first and then extract the oil, not the other way around. I've got the most peculiar contraption here. I'm using a plant pot with rags in it, so whenever I take the oil filter out, I have something to put it in real quick, and at least it won't go everywhere. So we're gonna go ahead and take our 3/8 ratchet now. I've got everything prepared, and we're slowly going to loosen. So actually grab my rag here. I guess you could probably pull this hose if you really wanted to out the way. All right, that's loose. So now we're gonna take it and put it there, just like that. And now we have our oil filter out. Ding! So what we're looking for whenever we pull this filter out, we're looking for milkiness and shiny bits. So if you look on our gloves right here, we're not seeing any shiny bits. A little bit milky, which I'm not crazy about, but nothing shiny. Now, people with the 2018 B9 Audi S4s are constantly worried about failure in the top end of the motor. So you would see it there first. You would see it here first. You would see it much quicker here than you would see it anywhere else in the car. So this is your best bet to check and to stay on top of to keep this issue from popping up so quickly. If you have this vehicle, and if you do have this vehicle, there is a way to inspect the top end to make sure you don't have the defective parts. If you're going to drain from below and not use an oil extractor, you will need one of these, and that is, the part number is not on there, so I can't give you the part number right now. But anyway, he'll put it up on the screen. I'll make sure you get it. But you do need to replace your drain plug if you go in through it. You really don't want to reuse these, and make sure you have the crush washer as well. So, and here's our oil filter, E914HD398. That is OEM, can't go wrong there. You can go for different brands if you want, but this is the one that we're gonna go with today. Open it up, what do we get? We get a nice brand new filter and an O-ring. This must be replaced. You should replace this every single time because all it takes is one of these being nicked or rolled or something crazy, and suddenly you've got an oil leak on the top of your motor, and you don't want that right next to a turbocharger. I'm gonna take some of these that I no longer need I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna loosen this, a little twist of motion, up and down. Uh-oh. That's what I was waiting on. Everything looks good, no flaky flakes. It just looks like dirty oil. Same thing here. All the interior looks clean, no flakes. I don't see any bearing material or anything like that in there floating around, so I think we're good. So I'm gonna go ahead and now take this O-ring off, which actually is use my pick. Since I've got a new one, I'll use a pointed pick. Normally you would use an O-ring pick. Roll it off. So trick with this is, since I've already got oil all over my glove, basically, I'm just gonna run my finger around just to make sure the gasket here gets nice and lubricated. We don't want it rolled or pinched or anything. There we go. Kind of walk it down until it has this little groove it's supposed to be in at the bottom. And now you're in. Now you're in this little channel right here. See how there's plastic at the top and the bottom? That's the channel you want to be in. You can put it up there and yes, that will work, but this is where you need to be at. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take our new filter. We're gonna go ahead and put it in there until we feel it click. I think that's a pretty obvious click to me. And so now we're going to spin it back the opposite way. Just back in and thread it back in by hand. Keep spinning until you start to reach the O-ring. That's tight. So now you're gonna do 25 Newton meters on the top, which means you're gonna need a torque wrench or you need to really snug it until it's snug. Do not do an impact on this. Do not do 50 unga-dungas. Do it as close to 25 Newton meters as you can because it is critical. This is plastic and going into plastic. You do not want to do this super hard and crack all of this on the front side of the motor. You'll be looking at $1,000 worth of repair. So don't do that. Give me just a second. Let me grab my torque wrench and we'll torque this to spec. Don't. Fly right on past it. The only thing I don't like about the digital torque meter, it's like, oh, you're close enough. It's like, but I want it to be exact. Okay. And watch this display right here and we'll see. No torquey yet. 6. Still 6. Still 6, 7. Starting to catch a little bit of resistance on the threads now. Do it again just to be on the safe side. Only 9 still. That's 28 right there. Does not feel like that's a lot of resistance at all. That's 28.41 according to the specs there. So we're gonna go with that. This is the dipstick tube on the Audi 3.0T. On the older version, I think it was on the right-hand side, but this one they've conveniently put it right next to your oil filter, which just shows you that they really want you to extract it. I use a sideways pick like this, so we're just literally gonna hoop it up under there and just kind of pull straight up, kind of wiggle. Maybe.
A few moments later.
Oh, no. Oh, I see it. I can get to it. So what you have to do when it goes flying, this is your next step, is you have to use your stretched Armstrong arms on the very hot motor now to get your 2 O-rings. So that's what was holding it down. Those 2 O-rings, you can see this one kind of has chip marks on it already. That was what was catching. So when you go to put it in, dirt or something's on that O-ring and it just kind of lodges in there over the heat expansions. So now we're gonna go ahead and get our extraction system ready and we're gonna see which tube fits down there perfectly. Okay, so we're gonna take this tube right here and we're just gonna go ahead and feed it down. I'm gonna stop here for a second and I'm gonna switch my metal insert. Switch this, put this in here. Again, this is to keep it from binding up as we go down with the tube. The idea is that if it's not going to come back out, the metal would get stuck before you push down into something wherever you're going to go. So we're gonna go down with it now. We start to feel a little resistance. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and we feel it bottom out. So what we're gonna do off of Humble Mechanics advice is we're gonna mark our hose there so we know exactly where that's at now. We're just gonna take it and do like a little mark like right there. And then I'll do another color for the Audi 4.0T. So now that we know that our thing is seated, we're gonna pull this out. Ta-da! And now we're gonna take our other piece and connect it to here. Make sure that's a good solid snug fit. And then we're gonna come back over to here. So this has notches in the bottom of it, as you can tell, and so does this. So you'll have to lift the handle, pull this up, and then as you go down, you'll notice if it's seating right and you turn, click, it locks into place. So I've got my air compressor on already. So I'm gonna go ahead and run a hose to this side. Right? And this is closed right now if memory serves me correct. So whenever I turn on the air pressure, this should not do anything. When we go to open this valve fully, that's when it's gonna start extracting oil down. Oop, let me not do with that. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and start to press air that way and see, make sure it's closed like it's supposed to be. Because if not, I gotta turn it back off. There we go. All right, so in theory, now we should be able to turn this and it starts pulling oil. There you go. Clunk, clunk, clunk. That's dope. Yes. No more oil spills. Shit. All right, so where we're at right now on this is marked in liters, so we're right at 8 liters. If we look up here at our jugs, we have a 5-liter jug, we have 1-liter quarts. So that means 8 liters. So over here, we have 8 liters inside of our container right now. That means that in theory, we should be able to put all of this in without even having to check the dipstick. We are still going to check the oil levels, obviously, and make sure those are good, but the idea is pretty simple in math. 8 liters here, 8 liters goes in. So let's go ahead and get started pouring oil in at this point and break all this down. To remember, because I want to clean up real quick on this. So I'm gonna use matte renew. All cleaner, it doesn't matter. It's just different variances of cleaning power. So I'm gonna clean around the oil cap here because it is extremely dirty and we don't want dirt going back into the motor, especially when we got fresh oil in there. So just a little bit will go a long way. And these are throwaway rags, really. Shout out to the rag company for the Ripper rags, making situations like this so much easier. Can't have a dirty oil cap or a PCV system. All right. Okay, so today we're gonna use a coolant fill funnel because my oil fill funnel that I normally use that slots into the top is missing. And always when you need something, it's not there. So we're gonna give the coolant thing a try here. So here goes 5 liters. It's green. I thought it was blue, it's green. And it's green because it has all of these really cool additives inside. So things that help your metal on metal contact from being way less harsh. So the reason this one is green and kind of weird looking is because of the start-stop or stop-start house system, however you want to say it. That puts an extreme amount of wear on the bearings and such inside the motor's bottom end. So you want to use the right weight oil on these motors if you have that enabled. If you've disabled it, feel free to go crazy with whatever you want. But for me, we still have it enabled, so I'm gonna go ahead and use the 0W20. So what I'm gonna do is remove just a little bit for the Ceratec. So basically there's 10 notches here. I'm gonna remove one of these notches to put the Ceratec in. Yes, it will be messy. That's okay. Good enough for me. Ouch. Clean this up for a second so I don't get oil absolutely everywhere. Boop. All right, so now I'm gonna take this. Again. Shake, 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 shake your rumba. All right, take this. Now I'm going to pour it directly into here. Look at how conveniently sized that is. It's almost like Liquid Molly decided to put it the same size. Okay, so now I go ahead, put this back on, and then I'm gonna shake this one around now. So we should, once it stabilizes, well, you can't really see anything, I guess, but anyway, it's right on the money when you're looking at it. So that's exactly how much I had to pull out to put the new stuff in, just like the other oil change video that I've done. So you don't necessarily have to use Ceratec. This is just a personal preference. The Liquid Molly, the Top Tech, I don't think actually needs it per se, but it's just an extra layer of insurance that I do. So, and now we're gonna take this and pour it in. Yummy. Definitely not the blue color we were used to just a minute ago. And that's basically like a ceramic for your car, but for the inside of your motor. You know, after a ceramic coating, you have that nice, good feel. Everything's nice and slick. You can just wash off dirt with a hose. Same concept here. We want everything to wash off the metal as quickly as possible and be as protected as possible. Keep going. And that's it. Put it back together and check the oil level on the engine. Last thing, we're gonna take our nice dipstick tube here and put it right back in. Gonna go down just like that. And now we're going to go into the car and check the oil level on the computer in the dash. Okay, so we're gonna turn our car on and you'll notice it's gonna go through its motions. But because our hood is up, it's going to tell us the oil level. Let me make sure there it is, oil level okay. Right at the max, so we're exactly where we need to be. We're gonna go ahead and start it and make sure everything's good and button it all back up. That we have no oil leaks around the O-ring. We verified that our dipstick is back in and we verified that our oil level is good. We're gonna take a rag one last time, kind of wipe everything down and put our engine motor right back on these little studs here. And that's it. That's how hard it was to change oil on an Audi S4. And now we're gonna go ahead and put everything back together, which you obviously know how to do based on what I just said, but you should be smart enough to figure out how to put an engine cover back on and clean up around yourself. Thank you for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch. It's been great. We're at 8,000 subscribers now and climbing daily, which is nuts to me considering we just started this off on an idea of just trying to help people work on their own cars. Audi charges like $200 something, I believe, for this car. And you can tell once you do the initial investment of an extraction unit, you don't even need the air compressor, you can do it by hand. And just a pick and the basic tools, you can do this in your driveway. Now, understand that if you reach a point where you're not sure what to do or you don't have the right tools, stop what you're doing and consult a professional. It is completely okay to say that you've reached your limits and that you need somebody else to take care of something. Do not crack the plastic housing on the top of the oil filter because we don't want that to ever happen. So again, be very careful with tightening. Use the specs that are listed on the top and a torque wrench if you have one, or just you see how little torque it took to tighten it down. But thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Continue to like and subscribe, and it keeps us motivated and keeps us going. And big shout out to my new editor. He's over there in the corner right now, but he's going to be taking care of our videos moving forward, so they're better quality, and that's the least we can do for everybody. So thanks. See y'all next time.